I'm glad we somewhat agree, but it's like sort of we're
from
not.
different perspectives. Yeah.
Yeah, because like unfortunately, and to kind of circle back on the end of this topic, anyways, is yeah, whether we like it or not, all language is to some level figurative,
Yeah.
and so there's
Right.
no
Yeah.
way to get around that. Like, okay, Songs of Solomon. You ever read like
Hmm.
that book
Hmm.
is got some interesting imagery,
Yeah.
but like it now if you understand that like this is Israel to the nations. This is also Christ to the bride of the church. This could also be from individual to individual. There's a lot of layers to that one, even though on the surface level, it just sounds like two lovers exchanging very weird, strange nothing, sweet nothings. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Hmm.
But in reality, no, it's there's a lot there. Actually, I will say, just on Wednesday, I actually finally concluded I have read the entire Old Testament from cover to cover.
Mm.
That was not an easy. It took a little over half a year because I'm a working man, got other things going on. But I finally got that. Like, because normally you read it piece by piece and you jump
Yeah.
around a lot. But I was like, no, no. If I'm going to be standing on that pulpit, I need to have at least read the entire thing cover to cover. Okay, the New Testament, I do need to go over Hebrews again, but that's really about it. And so that's pretty much how that goes. But yeah, so that was a big one for me. That was a big one for me. Now, sir, because you're probably like Phil, I've read the entire Bible like 67
No, no,
times.
I know very. Listen, I've the reason I took Greek was because I wanted to read. Well, actually, no. The reason I took it was because I wanted to read Aristotle, but it became very handy in terms of reading the New Testament. And I found myself using it more in that way, just because the Gospels are easy to read and Aristotle is very difficult. His Greek, that is to say.
Yeah.
I mean, keep in mind, the Gospels were written by fishermen to a large degree, so like it was intended to be easily understood, and the Greek in it is relatively easy. So just because my Greek was never perfect, I found it easier to read the Bible than I did, uh, uh, say Aristotle or other things like that.
No,
Consequently, the Old Testament is not an easy read. The New Testament is, but the Old Testament is very difficult. Not that I ever tried because I don't know any Hebrew, but I'm just saying, like, yeah, that's a much taller order. I tend to focus on the Gospels, just myself,
yeah.
with the exception of Job, because I really love the book of Job. But for the most part, no, I doubt I'm as well read on Old Testament stuff.
Uh, yeah. I mean, I I was kind of chuckling, like, because my pastor's like, okay, Phil, no, because I was reading, for first five books of Moses
Hmm.
around the time the wife was pregnant with the baby, and so I was like,
Right.
so you're reading just that and you're like, well, okay, getting the impression here, apparently the day he's circumcised is a real big deal, and we got to make a big deal about that apparently. And my pastor's like, no, 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 Phil, baptism is the new circumcision. Okay, we are circumcised by our faith. It's not by our fleshly acts anymore. Like, oh, he's like, keep reading, Phil, keep reading, you'll get there. And so yeah, but yeah, like you said, and I will say this to folks: the first 9 chapters of First Chronicles you can probably just listen to on audiobook. It's
Well,
nothing but genealogy.